Hello friends and welcome back to Skyrim. I'm Amanda and I'm Bryn's Protege on YouTube. I'm a fantasy gamer, reader, writer, and clay artist. I love to play cozy role-playing games that make me feel like the stories I read in books, otherwise known as gaming for the book girlies. I'm so excited to announce I'm opening a Discord. I made a video there that kind of explains how everything works in the Discord. We'll have mod showcases, support, and everything to do with Skyrim modding, but also if you write stories or create art that is of the fantasy nature, that's a place where you can share it to this community. I hope you guys have fun, and if you want to join the Discord, you can find it in the link in the description. Welcome to the guild! In today's video, drumroll please! I'm going to show you how to make a personal replacer for the NPCs in Skyrim. I do emphasize this is a personal replacer tutorial. That means it is for your game only and there's no way to share this properly with everyone else. It is specifically made for your game and your mod list. I am still trying to figure out how to make a proper standalone replacer, so once I figure that out, come back and I'll make another video. Off the bat, I learned this method from the Guided Immersive Features Discord. Please go check them out. They are a wonderfully helpful community to be a part of. They are well more established than my little guild that I'm starting, but I took a lot of inspiration from their Discord from my Discord, so I highly recommend you give them a chance. I would also like to say I'm absolutely not an expert. I'm just showing you the method that worked for me. Before we get fully started today, I want to make sure you have an understanding of a few things. First, you need to be really familiar with your mod manager, whether it's MO2 Vortex or however else you're loading your mods. Be familiar with how your system works. In today's example, I'm using MO2, but I will try to remember exactly how I did it in Vortex as well, so I can hopefully lead you all in the right direction. There's a couple software/applications you're going to need. This will require NIF Scope to be able to look at your meshes. I also recommend having a Google Sheet to be able to write down all the information you're going to need for the mod. I have actually saved you time and included a sample template to be able to help you get started. All is linked in the description below. To achieve this, you're also going to need a couple mods and all their prerequisites: RaceMenu, SSEdit or XEdit, and all the hair, skin, makeup, and eye mods you want to have for your characters. To emphasize, I'm also not using Creation Kit today, so keep that in mind. Every time I've always run into some errors, and SSEdit has way more options and how to make sure everything is filled out correctly. Once you have everything installed, we can get started. Go ahead and start on your desktop. You'll need to make a folder that is your mod's name. I recommend having a prefix with initials and numbers so that it identifies all your mods as the same thing. Then I usually add the character's name that I'm replacing and what other info I need. I actually usually rename this based on the export I do from RaceMenu. You can always change it later when we actually have the files to put in. Just have a name placeholder for now. Within that folder, I want you to create the folder tree I have listed on the screen. You have to make sure everything is typed correctly, otherwise you're going to run into issues. Feel free to pause the video now so you can make sure you have everything set up correctly. These are literally all my crazy mods. I know Farkas I only made one time, so I know he works. So we're going to look at, this is what his folder looks like. I have the name, and then I have the meshes and textures, and eventually this is where the ESP is also going to live. So under meshes, actors, character, face gen data, face geom, Skyrim ESM, you have his base ID and the NIF. Then we're going to go back, do the same thing, check it out, go textures, actors, character, face gen data, face tint, Skyrim ESM, and his DDS file with his base ID. So that should be what it looks like, okay? I'm also going to have it all written for you on the screen. Okay, so I'm on my 20th mod, which is really cool. Bring it off. Belrand replacer 01. So I have my prefix with who I'm working on, and that's a replacer. Okay, I didn't list any H1s or B1s because I haven't made him yet in the way that I want him to be, so I don't know which hairstyle I want, and I'm going to be deciding probably. So I will rename this when I know exactly what version of him I'm creating, but right now it's an 01. So we're going to copy, I'm going to copy and paste just so you can see what it's supposed to look like as I've showed you before. So I've copied and pasted my folders, but I'm going to get rid of the ESP for Farkas because he is not going to be there, but we will put Belrand's ESP in here when we're done. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to make your folder, and then you're going to make a meshes and a textures folder. Within the meshes folder, you're going to go file, new folder, you're going to name it actors. Within actors, you're going to make a character folder, and within character, you're going to make a face gen data folder, no spaces, all together, face gen data. And then you're going to make another one within face gen data is face geom, FACEGEOM, all together. I'd lowercase everything. Within face geom, you have your mod or Skyrim ESM ESM. So if you are modding an NPC that is based off Skyrim, your folder here will be skyrim.esm. If you're modifying a modded custom NPC, this is where the mod file name would go for that. So for example, for Kaiden, it's 0kaiden.esp. You just need to look into what the name is for your mod that you're adjusting. So that will go here. And then within that folder, you're going to eventually have your NIF file. Again, this is not Belrand's ID yet. I'm going to adjust this later, but this is where your NIF is going to live. So just remember the NIF goes under meshes, the DDS goes under textures. So let's go back to textures. Under textures, you have an actors folder. Within that is a character folder. Within that is a face gen data folder, again, all together. Within that is face tint, FACETINT, all one word together. Within that, you have the mod folder or the Skyrim.esm folder. And within that, again, is the DDS file with the base ID for your character. I don't know how many more times I can explain it, but I just want to make sure that is what you have. Once you have those folders set up, we can go to create a character in RaceMenu. Change of plans. Because this is something I want to do more when I make people, but I always forget. So I'm gonna run SSEdit. This is an optional step. You do not have to do this, but it's something I want to do going forward when I make replacers. If you want your replacer to share the same coloring as the original NPC, I recommend going to SSEdit and getting the numbers down. That's what I would do. That's what I should do most of the time, and I just haven't done it before, but I'm doing it now. Okay, so this is gonna be Belrand replacer. What? So we're gonna look up Belrand, Skyrim. We're gonna look up his base ID. First off, Belrand seems like a very old dude, and the beautiful pan replacer version of him is great. I think he's much younger in that one, and I think I'm going to also make a younger version of Belrand. I'm gonna give him back some hair, that's for sure. I might even give him a beard because I am a beard fan. So we're gonna take Belrand's base ID down here. We're gonna copy it. I have put Belrand's base ID in here. I personally like to have everything written down. I'm a super organized person most days, so this is how I approach things. So we get the base ID for Belrand and put it down here. This is all gonna be different. All these numbers are gonna be different. So like I'm gonna go ahead and just delete them. So other things to note about Belrand, probably on the older side, he has white hair. I don't know if we're gonna give him white hair or not, like if that's like his mage-ish vibe. We might keep giving him the blonde hair. I think he has brown eyes. We'll find out. This is why we use SSEdit, just so I can see what color all his hair and stuff is so that I can try to give him the same vibe. I want to keep it lore friendly, but also make it the way I want. So we're gonna go to Skyrim ESM. We're gonna go down to non-player actor, character, and we're gonna search for Belrand. I thought he was right there, but that is not him. Oh, I have his ID, so where's he at? Hireling. Okay, so if you're gonna modify any mercenaries, they are listed under hireling and then their name. There's some of these we can change later, which I will look at doing, but the main thing I am looking for is appearance. Okay, so he has brown eyes like I thought. His hair is a bright gray. I'll consider keeping those. I want to play around a bit. His height is 1, might make him a little taller. His weight is 45, may change that. We're going to play around with it, but this is what I really want. This texture lighting, this is his skin color. So I'm going to write down these onto my little handy dandy Google sheet. Okay, so his skin tone is 183, 156, 145. I'm gonna see if there's an alpha level of that. It's a 0. Okay, great. So this is the skin tone I'm gonna try to recreate in game. I always just make a new skin color, and you can absolutely do that, but I personally wanted to try to just maintain the same skin color that they had from the get-go. Okay, so let's go back into Skyrim. Okay, so trying to get to 83, 56, 45. I wish I could enter those numbers. It'd be a lot easier. See if we can get to 56. What is 56? 56 is not involved yet. So let's just... Aha! Okay, I figured it out. If you're trying to match a skin tone, what we've learned today is this brightness bar is gonna change the R and the B the most. So if you wanna go ahead and set it to the R level, so ours was 183, and then change the saturation level is going to affect the B as well. So go ahead and set it to B here. And it seemed like once these two were set, the hue was affecting the G the most in this scenario. So hopefully that helps you get to where you're going. I'm going to save color. I'm going to accept. All right, so that is his skin color. I'm going to start with this preset. I'm going to load the skin color. Yes, accept. And he was at a 45. We'll start with 45 and I'll adjust it from there. That's giving Belrand colored hair. I don't know. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to stick with that hair color or even style, but we're just messing around right now. I'm going to remove the beard for now. I'm going to go deep dive into my creating him on my own time. But I wanted to show you guys the sculpt mode. So to control the sculpt mode, you're going to right click to rotate and then use the scroll on your mouse to zoom in to where you're working. These have all the head parts, all the pieces that are affecting your character, and make sure he has a high poly face. So much better. So go back into sculpt, see way more vertices to edit. Of these three like checked off areas, you have the toggle visibility, toggle wireframe, and toggle editability. So I personally, if I was going to sculpt, I'd probably toggle the visibility of the hair off, and his right gash I'd also toggle off for right now. Obviously with smoothing, the radius is how big the brush is, the strength is how much the effect is happening. So smooth strength 0.5 is kind of, you don't want to go too high on the strength scale because then it'll just go wacko. You want very subtle changes, I think. Fall off is like the smoothness of the brush, and then mirror is whether it's happening on both sides. Brush is happening on both sides here. So if we did mirror off to 0, it would just be on one side. And I'm often doing that because sometimes it just feels like everything's uneven. You can deflate the skin, you can inflate the skin. More pronounced cheekbones, you would inflate it if you wanted. If it's too much, you smooth it out or deflate it. And then there's also the movement of the vertices. That can get a little chaotic. So only use the movement if you're having like a big clipping issue after messing around too much. The history of what you've done comes up. If you wanted to undo what happened, you click it. And then as soon as you leave the sculpt, if you go back to slider, everything you did saves on the sculpt. So you can't go back and change your history. So keep that in mind. So whenever you're happy with your sculpt, you can leave and then come back, and then the history is gone, and like that's your face. So if you messed up, you can't go back and reestablish everything. And also when you leave sculpt, everything you did in terms of toggling is off again. So you have to kind of restart, which sucks. So just know that once you leave sculpt, everything kind of resets if you go back. And as I've said before, whatever you do, if you're using the non-mirror option, whatever you do to the character, it's the left side of the face on the wireframe, but as you notice, it's going to affect the right side. Like, do you see how everything I'm doing is affecting the right side of his face, but I'm messing with the left side on the sculpt? So just keep that in mind. It's something that you're going to have to remember. Okay, good luck out there. I'll see you when I'm done messing around. Once you're satisfied with how your character looks, you're going to save it as a preset. And then you'll see all these values come up for the hair, the color, and all the different types of mods that are included in your preset. I like to take a photo on my phone with this, or you can screenshot it, whatever you prefer. I also go into the color menu as well to make sure I have all the colors that are possibly affecting this character written down. Your skin color is the most important numbers to have. You're going to go back into the sculpt tab and export the head. Feel free to name it as the mod name, or how I like to do it, I have my prefix with the character I'm editing, and then I add in H1 or B1 or H2 and B2 based on hair version or beard version. It helps me keep track if I'm trying out different looks on a character. I also recommend running around and testing your character as the player, because in different lightings you can see if the character is exactly what you want. And I can't tell you how many times I have gone back to readjust Brynjolf or Kaiden, and now I'm finally happy with them. So it took a long time to get there. So test out your character and run around the map and see what you think first before you fully commit to it. Also, another note, when you load your preset, sometimes the height is not the exact thing that you saved it as, which is something to keep track of. So make sure every time you do save the preset again, make sure your height, weight, and skin color are all the exact same as originally what you written down, or update your written down information to be matching what you actually export. It is weird like that, so just keep that in mind, that it sometimes does change it when you load a preset back in. So if you're updating a preset, that's something to look out for. It has been 2 hours later. As you can tell, it's dark now. Time flies. Whenever I'm creating character, it always is the longest part of this replacer process. This is my Belrand. I know he literally looks like, I try to do a different appearance and it feels like it's the same as it just feels like it's so similar to my other replacers, but whatever. The fact that I built off a preset that was from Skyrim and not my own preset, and I still feel like he ended up looking so close to my other ones is ridiculous. Now that I've created Belrand, this is what the preset information looks like. So when you save a preset, basically you're going to do sliders and go to preset, and you're going to save preset with F5, and then you're going to type in whatever name you want for this. I went ahead and just wrote it as Belrand Replacer. I did A as my latest one, so Replacer O1H1B1A. So that is my latest one that I'm going to use for the mod. If you want to access where the presets are, it's under Data, SKSE, Plugins, Cargen, and Presets. If you're using Vortex, this is most likely where you are going to find yours. If you're using MO2, you're going to find this, but in the override, starting from SKSE plugins, I believe. I don't think you're going to have data available. Once it's saved, it's going to show all the mods that are going to be included in this preset, as well as all the head parts. You're going to need to make sure you have all of these. This Apache Hair Fine has like 3 other parts with it that aren't listed here, but you can see it in the NIF file, and that's part of what you're going to need to add into SSEdit. Any colors, so I'd added a little makeup eyeshadow for him, so I made sure I kept track of that color just in case. I don't think you need the makeup, but definitely all your colors. The big one you need to keep track of is your skin tone. Make sure it's correct, and write down everything that was in part of the preset. So all of these, the war paint color, the hair color, all these presets, make sure you have everything written down. I take photos of everything on my phone and I'll reference it later to put in the Google Doc we had. You're gonna go to Sculpt, and down here, F5 is Export Head. So I'm gonna go F5, and I'm gonna see all my replacers are here. I did the prefixes in front of these, but I think I'm just gonna go 2025 because it's my latest one. This is gonna create your DDS file and your NIF file that you need for your mod. So you're gonna find this, if you're using Vortex, you're gonna find it under Data, SKSE, Plugins, and Cargen. That is where you're gonna find this file. Make sure to get the DDS file and the NIF file. For MO2 users, it's going to be in your overwrite file, most likely starting from SKSE, going to plugins, and then Cargen, and that's where it's going to be located. So for this name, I'm going to name him 2025 Belrand Replacer, each one because it's his first hairstyle I liked, and B1 is the first beard I liked, and A because I made some adjustments from the last ones. This is what I'm naming mine. I'm going to accept it, and now his head has been exported. So I'm going to do done, and I really recommend running around and just experimenting with your replacer a little bit, see if it's exactly what you're looking for. I think I finally have good settings for my recording, which is really cool. I feel like everything's running smoothly and looking good, which is so sick. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're just going to jump into photo mode for a little bit. This is my replacer for Belrand. I think he's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with him for now. He just looks like everyone else I make, so I definitely don't think it's the same magic as what Belrand actually uses, but I just wanted to have a little magic example. I don't know if this is the outfit I'm going to give him. It'd be kind of cool if I was able to, but that means I would need to make sure the Witcher armory is part of his situation. So I may just give this to him later in my own time. Once your head is exported and you've recorded all the numbers, go ahead and pull up the Google Sheet. The example I have is in the description. Put in all the information you've collected in there so it's in one safe place. I want to go into our Google Doc and I want to fill in all the information I found. So Apache hair males.esm, and the head parts that are listed, there's going to be more, but male, mouth, humanoid, default, which is gonna be ignored, but it's there. One thing to note is to make sure whatever race you want your character to be, that you make sure you have selected the correct race before you export your preset, because that can really mess you up. For example, I believe like Kaiden initially is Redguard, but when I made his preset, I changed him to a Nord because his race isn't really available. Because I changed his race to a Nord, I needed to make sure that I changed his race on SSEdit. So just keep that in mind. If you change the race of your character, you gotta make sure you change it in SSEdit. You'll know for sure what race you chose if you use high poly head, because it'll have the male head Nord or male head Redguard, whichever race you had, just like your double check to know which one you selected. All right, so those are my head parts that I had listed on the preset list. All right, so I put his height, his new height and weight in there, and then his hair color, just so you guys know where to look for. There's basically the male upper eye socket is the eye shadow, and then the lower eye is eye tint. So that's something to just keep track of because the names are different from in-game versus what's on SSEdit. Once that's filled out, we're gonna go look for the actual files you exported. They should be within SKSE. If you are using MO2, you're gonna go to your instance and go to your overwrite folder, and then you're going to go to SKSE, plugins, Cargen, and your NIF and DDS should be there. So for me, it's these two with the Belrand Replacer A options. So I'm going to select both of these. I'm going to copy and I'm going to go back to that replacer folder, and I'm just going to paste them in here to start. If you are in Vortex, you're going to go in your actual Skyrim folder and go to data. Once you're in data, there's going to be SKSE, plugins, Cargen, and that's where you're going to find your head that you exported. And then presets are under presets. If you ever need the presets, this is where they live as well. So you're going to copy those and go back to your desktop and put them in the main folder that you created. So outside the textures and meshes, so you'll see your textures, meshes, and then these two files that you've added. It should be a NIF file and a DDS file. You need to go look up the base ID for the NPC you're going to use and then rename each of those files that number. Then you're going to put the DDS file under textures. You're going to go all the way through to the end of your textures folders and put the DDS file there. Then you go back out and go all the way through the meshes folders to get to the place where you put your NIF. So textures, DDS, meshes, NIF. If you're creating a replacer for a character that is part of another mod that is not from Skyrim, for example, Kaiden, your Skyrim ESM folder will actually be named the mod that your character comes from. For example, for Kaiden, going from meshes all the way down to face geom, within face geom folder, it is 0kaiden.esp. From in there, that's where the NIF file will live. In the case of it being a regular NPC from Skyrim, in the face geom under meshes, it will be Skyrim ESM. And then under textures, you go down to face tint. Within the face tint folder will be again the mod that the NPC comes from, or Skyrim ESM. Another thing that I did discover, if you're doing a character that has two different stages, I don't know how to explain it. For example, Ulfric has his pre-war look and then like his battle look apparently, so you have to create both if you're going to mod Ulfric, because he has two. It's really weird, but he has two versions of himself, so you have to modify both. That is something I just want to also put out there. I did Ulfric so long ago, but I just remember I did have to have both versions of him installed with the mod. If you need help with that, hit me up in the Discord. Okay, so now this is where our little Google Doc starts to become in handy. We copy our base ID, and that's what each of these is going to be renamed to. We're going to cut the NIF, and I'm going to put it in meshes, actors, character, face gen data, face geom, Skyrim ESM, and this is where the NIF lives in the meshes. We're going to go back to the main folder. We're going to cut the DDS, go into textures, actors, character, face gen data, face tint, Skyrim ESM, and paste it in here. So this is where everything is going to live, and this is what's going to be referenced when we make our mod. So the next step, we're going to open up this NIF file in NIF scope. So I'm going to open up in NIF scope. It may already be like automatically set to open in Creation Kit, but we don't want to open it in Creation Kit. So once you open up NIF scope, you may have textures here, you may not. For me, I've never been able to see the textures here, but it's always worked. So I think it depends on where you're working out of. So we're going to come into 0 BS fade node, and we're going to go 3 knee node and come down to 11 for the male head node. And we're going to go to shader, the 15 BS light shader property, and then we're going to go to the texture set. So as we come down here, the BS shader texture set is currently set to our Belrand Replacer DDS, where the initial DDS file was located in our plugin. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to go back to our filing system. We're going to go back to the main folder, go through textures, go to where our DDS file is. So this is where a DDS file, you're gonna come up here and you're gonna highlight this whole collection here and see everyone starts at actors. So we can also start at actors. I usually prefer just starting at textures just in case. Totally up to you. I am just for my sanity gonna go all the way to textures, and we can make another backslash and we come here. So you copy the whole address of where this is located, and then we're gonna copy this whole file with the DDS file. So we have the name, and we're gonna paste the DDS file here. So this is where it's gonna pull the textures for your head. So enter and have that be there. You're gonna save this. And so now it's always going to reference this area that you have created. So we can leave this open because now we're going to go into SSEdit and make our mod. Let's see if I can actually remember how everything works with this by memory. If this actually works, I'll be very proud of myself. What's really important now is that we keep open the NIF scope so we can see all these different pieces. I think I told you guys that the hair has several other pieces that weren't visible on the initial head parts that were listed for the preset in-game, but you're gonna need them when you're in SSEdit. So this is why we keep this open to double check and cross-examine that we've got everything added to our mod. Okay, as I said before, this is why we keep track of the mods that we were using for this. Select none, go ahead and select Skyrim and the updates that are involved with that. We're gonna look for Apache, and we're gonna do the hair males for this, and I'm gonna do high poly head. Yep, we have selected all the mods that were listed on the preset, so I'm going to go ahead and press OK. And it's going to open all of those mods. This might take a minute, so just be patient. All right, so we need our non-player actor again, so our hireling that we looked at before. Where is non-player actor? We're going to do hireling. This is the part that I don't remember. One of the videos I found, I believe it was linked from Kaiden Immersive Featured's Discord, but the video I have been following for a long time is from Night Radiant about making a personal appraiser from SSEdit. So she's basically taught me how to do this, and I'm basically following her method, and I've just added my personal tweaks to it. Definitely go show her channel some love and check out her video as well about how to make a personal replacer. So we found Belrand. Now the next plan is to copy as overwrite into. Warning, you are about to edit a module file, but we're together in this. I'm gonna help you, so yes, we're sure. We're gonna do this third one down, which is new file ESP, but it's flagged as ESL. So important, isn't it? And you press OK. And then this is where you're officially naming your mod. So for me, I'm going to do my prefix, Belrand, replacer, H1B1A. So this is the name of my mod officially. I'm going to press OK. Now it looks kind of more like how SSEdit looks when I'm looking at mods. The point is you have Belrand from Skyrim and all his settings from there. And then this is our new mod. And this is going to be where we get to change all the settings from Skyrim to be what we want for the mod. There's a lot of stuff I'm not going to bother with, but so if you ever decide to change your race of your character, this Nord race area, this is where you would change it with your replacer. You can attach armor to him. I don't have any preference of what armor he wears, because if he becomes my follower, I'm just going to give him armor. So I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so most of the perks we're good with. I'm checking confidence level. I'm keeping these. It's good for me. These are his skills. I sometimes change them per, I changed Brynjolf's, a few of them. I feel like we're pretty solid on a lot of these. So yeah, I'm pretty confident in all of those. I think his health and magicka is fine. I might give him a little more magicka. I'm gonna give him a little more magicka. Here is where we're gonna be working the most, is at head parts and as well as the height, weight, all that stuff. So since I'm already here and this is the easiest to change, I'm gonna change his height to what I have it set for, which is 1.02. I changed his weight to 60, so this is now going to be 60. We have the male mouth humanoid default. This is already attached. It is with Skyrim ESM. You can pretty much ignore this one. We need to have the male head Nord, and this is from high poly head. So what I'm going to do is on here, we're going to minimize Skyrim, and we're going to go into high poly head and head part. And now we need to locate this record right here. All right, don't even bother searching for it because it sometimes messes with this thing. So I recommend just looking for exactly what you're looking for. So we are looking for 00KLH male head Nord. That's what this has. This is what we're going for. So what you're going to do is you're going to right click and do copy override into, and we're going to make sure we select our mod. And then we press OK. And this is basically going to make High Poly a master for or required mod to have this ESP work. Keep High Poly open. You're going to go to your mod and you're going to pick your character again, your non-player character, actor. We're going to scroll down to the head parts again. He doesn't have a replaceable head part for this. So what you're going to do is add head part. And then you're going to go back to the piece that we have added in, and you're gonna type in 06123806. All right, and so now his head has been attached. So the next thing we're doing is the humanoid no scar, which, does he have a right gash? Wow, so he did actually have some gashes that I did not add to him. So maybe I will on the next time we mess around. I believe that is from Skyrim, the Mark's male humanoid no scar. I believe that is all from Skyrim. So I'm not gonna worry about it here. It's already gonna be there. So then Apache hair for males, we're gonna head part and we're gonna look for, there's a couple things. So this is where we're actually gonna bring up the NIF, because the NIF has everything that we need to look for the hair, at least. Okay, so now that we're here, I'm gonna just select all the ones that are under the Apache hair and then override all of it into Belrand. There's 4 Apache hair files and we have selected all of them. So now I'm going again, copyright is override into Belrand, okay, and say yes. And so now we go back up to Belrand, scroll back down to our areas of where we're adding, and then we're going to scroll down again to our head parts. And so his hair, we're going to change his hair to be the main ID of the Apache hair. So that's in. And so as I've said before, if there's not a replaceable one, then you go ahead and just add a head part. We've got a bunch down here. So sometimes if I have, in this case, I have a bunch that have the same prefixes at the beginning, I will copy it. B5, I'm going to go ahead and copy that so that I can reference it for later. So it's B528. And that added his hairline fine. We're going to add head part, do this again. And we're going to do 2A. And that added his scalp 2 fine. And so that gives us all the hair parts that we need for our guy to function. So the Apache hair fine is good. I think the human beard is actually from High Poly. Open up High Poly again because I did not realize the beard was from there. So we're going to look for human beard 02, 00 KLH human beard 02. And so we're going to copy as override into Belrand. I know it's a process, but it's so worth it in the end, I promise. So he's got no beard. Well, I gave him one. So scroll down to where it's highlighted. We're going to change this no beard to a beard. 06123902. All right, so that's been attached. And then we have improved eyes of Skyrim. So we're going to go up to improved eyes of Skyrim, texture, head part. And we're going to look for MJB male eyes human brown 10. Human brown 10. Okay, we're going to add as override into our guy. Okay. And then we're going to again go back up, click on Belrand, come back down here. It is tedious, but I swear once you get the hang of it, you're going to be knocking the longest thing you should be doing when you're making a replacer is making the character. That should be the longest amount of time you're spending, I think. The rest of this should not take you that long. Once you get the hang of it, it should not take you that long to do the rest of this. Okay, so we got the human eyes, and then we have to get the certain brown eyebrows. FE001849. Okay, and because I didn't give him any of these gashes, I'm deleting them. So these are the only things that it's going to be accessing because that is what we told it to access. So now that we have done this, I'm going to go and save. Just want to make sure it's saved. Always save. You never know when things are going to crash. We've got all the head parts. The main adding of other mods into the character, I think is done. I think that's all we need to do for that. Because I changed his hair color to a custom hair color, you can delete this and it will take the color that it has in the files. Spooks me out to do that, but that is what you do. Okay, so I had his skin color be the exact same as this. I'm just gonna double friggin' check 156 and 45. So I kept his skin tone the same. Okay, and so we're gonna scroll down again to make sure this is where you have 2 places where you're gonna be entering in your skin color. Obviously, I didn't have to enter in a skin color because I kept it the same. So because I kept mine the same, they're different, but you need to change your values here at QNOM texture lighting. You need to make sure those match your skin color. And then the other place you need to do it is down here at under tint layers, under skin tone. You're gonna do the red, green, blue. All this is fixed here. He has his cheat colors already in here, so this is perfect. So I have the main cheat color. Mine is different, so I'm gonna change these two. So 162 and 128. 127. They say you don't have to put in the alphas, but if I have them, I'm gonna put them. That's just my preference. Again, I'm trying to give it everything it might need. I know I don't have them, but I don't think I ever delete the color. I think I just leave it alone. Haha. See, I'm learning and teaching you at the same time. Okay, so we're gonna add our tint color because I have the upper eye socket, which is the eyeshadow. I don't have the other information on these, so I'm just gonna leave it be. We're learning as much as I'm trying to help here because I haven't done this in a minute because usually I didn't see eye socket, but maybe it's there and I missed it because it's just war paints. It's all just war paints, yeah. So that should be it. We have added all the mods that are a part of our replacer in. I've added all the colors that I can think of in. If it doesn't work, it's probably because I added those extra colors, but I thought I should because I'd like to make sure it has every part of the information I can offer. So we're gonna go ahead and save. Okay, and once it's done, we're gonna quit out of SSEdit. So if you are using Vortex, I wanna say that your mod will end up in your data folder. I believe that's where you'll find it. For me, as an MO2 user, it is in the overwrite folder outside of any of the other folders. This is where all my mods that I've worked on live. Once they're saved, they end up here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy from here and I'm gonna paste it into my main folder where my meshes and textures are, and now it's ready to go. I've copied my mod folder into my mod working files folder, so there's a backup for it. And then I made sure to back up the ESP file that's in the overwrite, and I deleted it from the overwrite. So then I'm going to rename my whole folder because I want it to represent the mod itself. So it's H1 B1A, and I'm going to go ahead and compress to zip file. And now that he's compressed to zip file, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it in my Skyrim refs folder, and that is where all the mods that I download from not Nexus, all those mods go there. Also, all the mods I make go there. So we're gonna install a mod. We got Belrand. We're gonna open Belrand, and I'm gonna make sure he's named appropriately. And then we're just gonna make sure that we move him up with the rest of them. So he's gonna go hang out with all our other replacers, okay? And now we just test him in game. I worry about testing him out, to be honest, because I don't know. This is what I mean. Like I did all this from memory, so if I forgot something, well, we're gonna find out. I hope he works. That would be real cool. I've done this so many times now, you think I'd know it like the back of my hand, and I honestly do. Again, I only watched the tutorial video that I learned from to just double check the exact choice in SSEdit of what I need to do to start it up. That was really the only thing I couldn't remember. So we don't have the Belrand I put together in the final for this one. This was the test guy that I changed a few times, so he's not going to look exactly like Belrand, but we can still go down and check out if Belrand is functioning. Let's see. Please, 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 please. Yay!
I fight with both blade and spell. You might say I'm equipped to handle nearly any threat. So, shall we talk price?
Another time, perhaps.
If you change your mind, seek me out here.
All right, he works. That's so exciting. I did it. I hope you have the same reaction and same excitement as me. Take a photo of Belrand, but I'm pleased. I'm very content and happy that this worked. So Belrand is functioning. Oh, he dropped his bread. But this is our guy.
I feel very well.
I think he's looking pretty good. Where is he gonna walk to? You gonna hang out? Okay, sick. So Belrand is fixed and done, and I think he looks great to start. He'll be a nice character to add to our list of who we can pick up in Solitude to help the characters start their gameplay. I wonder if I should have gotten his hair to be a little bit brighter, but I kind of liked the darker look. If I had gold, I would take him on the road now. He's pretty dang cute.
Blade or by spell. If you want it dead, I'll make it dead.
This is so fun. Okay, well, have fun. Like, I'm just happy it worked the first time and I didn't lead you guys astray, you know? Yay! This is him as well. They're twins. Look, they're like
Blade or by
twins.
spell.
Wait. Oh, this is fun. They're twins. Very happy with this. So hope it works for you. Well, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I am so excited that this actually worked on the first go for me. Sometimes things happen, you know? So again, if something happens with your process with this, don't be afraid to try it again. Just do it one more time. I'm sure you're gonna get it on the second go. It takes a minute to get practice, but I hope all these steps that I've showed you today will help you succeed on the first go. If you did enjoy this video, please remember to give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing to be notified the next time I post, or if you have any mod making requests, hopefully I can make some for you. If you did make it to the end of the video, let me know which NPC you're gonna use this tutorial on. Thank you all so much for all your support. I'm so happy to have so many of you here. I hope you have a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Where's he going? He's gonna hang out. Yeah, we're still doing this. Oh, whoa, he went down there. The shadows look freaking weird, dude. Okay, whatever. I'm done. This is cool. I did it! We did it! We quit! We did it! Great job, team.